Hello everyone, and for the first time in a little while, welcome back to Marvel Crisis Protocol. In today's 16 threat match, Convocation are going up against the Winter Guard. On the table layout you can see before you, let's hope we're not too rusty, and with that let's just go take a look at both sides and get this underway. And let's start with Convocation being led by what we call around here War Criminal Doctor Strange right here, and being joined by the Scarlet Witch, so they're taking up the lion's share at 5 threat each. And then also being joined by Magic, and then special guest, just because recently finished painting her, we have Shadowcat to try her out. And their cards, along with the Bar with No Doors being their affiliation bonus, which is going to be starting on the Moons of Munapor, I think it's pronounced. Pronunciation of Convocation words are going to be a sore spot forever. Their tactics cards are Astral Ring, Orb of Agamotto, Wand of Watum, Brace for Impact, and Ironbound Book of Shuma Gorath. And here we have the Winter Guard, who is basically just all the Winter Guard available, and then also a special guest. So at the back we have Crimson Dynamo and Ursa Major, and then at the front, from camera left to right, we have Red Guardian rather, we have Darkstar, and then for some reason Okoye, just as a 2-threat character to fill out the 16 threat in total. I think their tactics cards are going to be too reflective based on the studio lights. You can just about sort of make them out. We have Fusion Caster, Bear Hug, Comrade's Keeper, Dark Aura Manifestation, and Sovereign Strike. And here is the two Crisis cards being played today. Both of them are 16 threat. Paranoia Pummeled Populace is 4 disturbance tokens. This used to have 5, I think. But the gist of it is 1 VP scored for each one you're holding. You can only hold 1 at a time. And if you have no allies within 2 of you when you pick it up, you get paranoid and hurt yourself, I guess, because you take 1 damage. During the cleanup phase, if 1 or more characters holding a disturbance are within 2 of another allied character, those characters controlling players score 1 VP. So is that on top of the other scoring condition? Players score 1 VP for each disturbance a character they control is holding. Yeah, I guess it is. So there's an opportunity to score more there as well. And then we have Mayor Fisk vows to find missing witnesses. It's the 2 witnesses that now, instead of being on the opposite ends of a table, are actually super close to the centre with the new version of this card. 2 VP for each witness secured during the cleanup phase. In the cleanup phase, they can move and do 1 damage and stun everyone within 1 of them. And if we just take a look with the new layouts, pull back a little bit, it's just a big line in the centre. So we have the 2 witnesses and then the 4 paranoia tokens. And that about covers everything, so we'll get both sides set up and be back at deployment after this quick word from my channel sponsor. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. And with that, we are back with both sides deployed. Convocation are to the right of your screen and will be taking first activation, although they do have a pass because there are only 4 miniatures to 5, with the Winter Guard on your left. I think everybody is about visible. Darkstar and Crimson Dynamo have started up on top of the building. They both have flight, so it doesn't really matter, with the rest of them just in a line down here. Ursa Major, Red Guardian and Okoye, and then the entirety of Convocation just in a line. They're ready for a brawl. They've got 2 heavy hitters. Is that enough to take out superior numbers? I guess we'll see. Going for those paranoia tokens and the witnesses. With that, jump into round 1. Convocation going first. Let's see who wins. So it was War Criminal Doctor Strange who got the game started, choosing to move up medium twice and positioning himself within 1 of the witness over there, but also within 1 of the paranoia token there. He paid 1 of his 3 power because he gets 2 extra, part of why he's a War Criminal, and has picked it up, but there's no allies around him, so he gets a little paranoid and hurts himself. So that is 1 damage done to himself for picking that up of his, I think he has 6 on his healthy side. Crimson Dynamo was first up for the Winter Guard, flying down 2 short movements from the roof he started on, which gave him just enough to get to the paranoia token that was on the far table edge over there. Paid his 1 power, picked it up, which does mean he takes 1 damage. Just as a reminder, totally forgot to go over affiliation bonuses and what they do. The Winter Guard have a chance to resist being pushed off of objectives, off of the witnesses in this case, and for the side of the Bar with No Doors that the Convocation is started on, they get to do a reroll and an attack roll against someone who doesn't have an activated token, and if they don't have an activated token, once per turn they can reroll 1 defense die. The second heavy hitter activated for Convocation, the Scarlet Witch. She also moves medium, so it was basically a similar move to Doctor Strange. she flew over here, positioned herself between the secure witness here and then also the extract paranoia token, which sadly meant she couldn't get within range 2 of Stephen, meaning that she did also still take 1 damage from picking up that paranoia token. We just take a look at the better, there we go, that's what the center of the map basically is looking like right now. So that's 1 damage to her. I think she has 6 health on her healthy side as well. And just to make sure it's all covered on camera, I forgot to mention that the Winter Guard's affiliation bonus is 2 parts. One is the not getting shoved, or a chance to not get shoved off of secures. The other part is at the top of their activation, they can clear a special effect on them, like Incinerate, etc. It's actually pretty good. Well, in order to not fall behind on the point gap too much, Okoye activated and she did a mad sprint for the final paranoia token on the floor. 2 medium moves from where she started was enough that she got within 1 of it. She paid her 1 power she got in the power phase, has picked it up, and as a result has taken 1 damage. So that is a bit risky because she does only have 4 health on both sides, I think. But it helps keep the point curve not as bad. So now it's over to either Magic or Shadowcat. Unless they pass, they could still pass. And the pass was indeed used, so Red Guardian activated instead, and he moved up medium twice, getting him next to the secure token that is currently being held by Scarlet Witch, so that's now a draw at that one. Well, rather than try and help secure one of the witnesses, Magic tried for a cheeky little snipe there. Activated, spent her 1 power she started with to Limbo Step range 1, which isn't very far, it's an inch basically. But that did mean after a medium move, she was placed there, which did put her within range to launch her Bolts of Easter. It's Convocation names. Either way, 4 dice, range 4 I think it is, energy, guaranteed 1 power generation whether it does damage or not, into Okoye, and it managed to do 2 damage. It did not quite secure the daze, leaves her with 1 health remaining, so it's quite lucky there. Second last activation of round 1 for the Winter Guard, Darkstar activated, flew down off the building and moved twice in order to get within range to secure the witness that Doctor Strange is currently securing, which is over here. So that's currently even on that side. And now it's over to Shadowcat as the final activation of round 1 for Convocation. So in order to keep that turn 1 point spread in their favour, Shadowcat just did 2 moves. It's more like a move and a half she did because she actually moves long. But it got her to help secure Scarlet Witch. So they're currently winning. Ursa Major might actually have a problem trying to fit in there, assuming he can reach it. So it would probably make more sense if he goes for the other one that Doctor Strange is at, because with Darkstar there, they'll win that one, and then that way there's a witness each. Because as I say, I actually don't think he'll be able to fit in the gap between those two, and he moves short from memory. So that's probably what he's going to do. That means it kind of balances out, and we'll come down to the paranoia tokens, and Convocation already obviously know they've got the advantage on those this turn. Yep, and sure enough that was what happened. So Ursa Major has moved up. That does mean that the Winter Guard are securing that witness. So we'll go to the end phase now and cover all the points, remembering that if 1 or more characters who are holding a paranoia token are ending the round within 2 of an ally, there is 1 bonus victory point on offer, and I believe both sides are getting that this round. So at the end of round 1, I was completely forgetting this is the new version of the paranoia whatever it is. Actually, I think I may have been confusing it with the ambush tokens crisis card. There is only 4, so actually it's completely even. Both sides managed to grab 2. So Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch are both holding a paranoia token for Convocation. That's 2 victory points, and Scarlet Witch is within 2 of at least 1 ally, so that gets the bonus points. That gives them 3, and they are securing this witness, so that brings them to 5. The Winter Guard hold the other 2 paranoia tokens, 1 on Darkstar, 1 on Crimson Dynamo. They are within, or she is within 2 of Ursa Major. They're within 2 of each other, so they get that bonus point as well, and they are securing the witness that Doctor Strange is next to, so they gain 5 victory points as well. A lot of points thanks to that bonus one, and you can only proc the bonus one once, now that it's been read clearly. So now the witnesses move, and they stun and damage anyone they're within 1 of after being moved by the whoever does not control them. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. Allergies are absolute death right now. So we're actually going to cover that at the top of the next round just because it's smoother, but you are supposed to do it during the cleanup phase, just for clarity's sake. So with that, we'll jump into round 2, but with doing the witness stuff first. So here we are with where the witnesses ended up. So with the one not being controlled by Convocation, they actually moved it closer to Darkstar and Ursa Major, out of range 1 of Doctor Strange. So it did 1 damage to each of them and applied stun. And then down here, basically the same happened more or less. with it being moved within 1 of Magic and Scarlet Witch, so they both take 1 damage and also receive stun. On the note of stun, because the wording for stun is just if an effect would cause you to gain more power than 1, you gain 1, and it happened in the cleanup phase technically, before the power phase for round 2, does that mean that Doctor Strange only gets 1 power? Because he has that rule that says during the power phase he gets 2 more. Is that an effect? I don't think it's an effect because it's just one of the rules on his card, but I wasn't 100% sure about that, and I'm not sure it's ever like cropped up in the 118 of these. I don't know how many there's been. I don't know if that's ever actually happened before. So if that's wrong, apologies, do let us know. On that note, Doctor Strange ended the first turn with 2 power, so this doesn't change regardless. But Ironbound Book of Shumagorath is being played. There's actually a new nerf version of this card coming into circulation when they do their next card pack, as I understand it. But for now, we're using this version. Convocation character can spend 2 during the power phase. If they're attacked by a physical element attack, they can take it on their mystic defense. I think the new version has a nerfed wording for how it comes back because of the introduction to grunts, which is perfectly acceptable, honestly, because it can be abused if you have grunts. So I totally understand that, but we're not using grunts anyway, so either way, that will help the Convocation people stand up, because every other defense they have other than Mystic is pretty bad. So it was Convocation with first activation, and I have heard stories of how annoying or like just pernicious, is that the word, Shadowcat can be, and I've kind of seen that now with her activation here. Also, by the way, how cool are these cool blue dice, which are third party, as it turns out, but pretty cool looking, and I don't just mean that as a pun. Anyway, so Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde, or Price, I always forget if it's Price or Pride, either way. She activated and started with just her basic phasing strike, 4 dice, I think it's physical, into Okoye, but it has a special rule where crits in the defense roll don't count as a success and don't generate other dice, which is pretty incredible. So she did that, and if you get a wild as well, which she did, you get placed within 1 after resolving the attack. She did the 1 damage to Okoye, and that was enough that Okoye is dazed. She dropped her paranoia token, she paid 1 to pick it up, she is within 2 of at least 1 friend, so that means that she doesn't take the damage from picking up the paranoia token. She then used her other basic attack, which is range 4, I think, 4 dice energy. It's actually using Lockheed, her dragon, Lockheed, whatever, to breathe fire, and Winter Guardian, Soldier, what's his name? Red Guardian, there we go. They're not on the table enough for me to remember them. Red Guardian, and he completely whiffed his defense roll against 4 energy dice, which just generates 1 flat power for Shadowcat, but he took 3 damage from that, and he's been set on fire, although if he activates he can just completely clear the Incinerate as a free action thanks to his affiliation bonus, but still a really good result, and with that placed within 1 from her initial attack against Okoye, it means she's helping secure this witness right here, so it's going to be pretty hard to pry that one out of Convocation's hands this round. Well, that'll teach me to forget his name, because Red Guardian activated and he had a pretty decent turn. He used his affiliation bonus to clear the Incinerate for just a free action. Then he spent 3 power on Siberian Shield Slam into Scarlet Witch, got her for 3, and then also throws her short. So she was flung into Magic. The 1 damage she takes automatically from the throw is enough that dazed her. Magic whiffed her dodge kind of badly and took 2 damage. And Scarlet Witch, upon being dazed, dropped the paranoia token she was holding. He picked that up and then he ran away with it, which is smart because they've lost that side of the table. So he ended up over there. He did take 1 damage from taking the paranoia token because there was no one around, because Okoye wasn't within 2 and she's dazed anyway. So he is 1 away from dazing himself, but he has also kind of made sure that token is over by the rest of his team. So that was a really good turn. And taking Scarlet Witch out before she gets to activate this round is really, really useful. And the damage she was taking was while she was stunned, so it's not like she's sitting on a ton of power either. So that's pretty rough. So yeah, he did well. What can you say? Well, Magic decided to give chase to Red Guardian, spending for Limbo Step again, getting her as close as she could get right there. And that put her within, well, plenty of range, but she wanted to be within range to pick up the Paranoia token if he dropped it. It took both actions to do the bolts of Ashter, Oster, Arthur, who knows, 4 dice, and generates 1 flat power on just doing it. And the first one fully blocked. Second one though got through for 2 damage, only needed to do 1, so that did daze Red Guardian. He dropped his paranoia token. Actually, she should have 1 damage because I don't think... Yeah, Kitty's definitely outside of range 2. So she will have 1 extra damage on her, which takes her to 1 away from dazing as well, which probably means she's about to just drop it again. But she is currently holding a paranoia token the Red Guardian was holding. Ursa Major, the big bad bear, tried to be the one to take out Magic, and he got very unlucky, and also thanks to the Ironbound Book of Shirogora, she was able to use 4 dice for defense against his bear claw, instead of 3. That was after he moved small tightly around the car there with his big base. It does mean he's just within 1, so he is contesting that witness. Now it's still under oh, actually no, it's not, because Scarlet Witch is dazed. I was going to say it's still under Convocation control. No, it isn't. It is a draw currently, 1-1. So no, never mind. So he did achieve something, even though Magic was able to fend off his attack. So with Scarlet Witch not getting a turn, all that left was War Criminal Doctor Strange, who could have passed, but he had stuff he wanted to do. So he moved Medium and inserted himself into the situation over here to try and help contest the witness here. He then attacked with his basic attack into Ursa Major. It's got Pierce on Wilds and Crits, I think, and either way did 3 damage to the bear, bringing him up to 4 damage in total, I think, of his 7 health on his healthy side. But that gave him enough power to play with. He spent 4 on Scalpel of Strange to pick an ally within 2, teleport them within 3. They don't drop objectives or anything like that, so he picked Magic and teleported her to relative safety. She might still get attacked from over there, but it does mean she's kind of in the back line, and also she is currently helping also control this witness. So if nothing else, he made her safer, and the bear is getting closer to being dazed. And he didn't generate much power for himself there since he had the stun condition. But that's Convocation's second round completely done, so now it's over to Crimson Dynamo and Darkstar. Well, the first attempt at Operation Assassinate Magic did not work. Darkstar activated, moved to the far side of the witness, but is within range 1 of her, which put Magic within range 4 of her basic attack. 5 dice energy with full rerolls, and Magic just absolutely killed her defense roll with 2 crits in there and took no damage from that effort. However, it generates 1 flat power whether it does damage or not. That gave her 3 in total, which she spent on Dark Portal or something it's called. You pick an ally within 3 and place them within 3. So Crimson Dynamo has been moved up 3, and that puts him a bit closer to also threaten Magic. The ironic thing is, even if she lives till the end of the round, the witness can kill her, or sorry, daze her, when the round crosses over, or rather in the cleanup phase. But if they get her before that, they would have snatched that paranoia token. So now it was Crimson Dynamo's turn to try and kill Magic. He moved into position so he could use his basic 5 dice beam 3 on her, and it also caught Shadowcat. The initial roll against Magic is the one you can still see sitting. It was left to show you what it was. 2 blocks and 3 blanks. That's just the way it rolls sometimes. So it did nothing. He still generates 1 flat power for each person hit, and the target still gets shock whether they take damage or not, so Magic is still shocked. Shadowcat on the other hand though, she got hit pretty badly. She got hit for 3, also applies the shock, not enough to daze her, but that is that, and I believe that takes us to the end of round 2. Oh, first, just as a point of note, Shadowcat does have an ability she can use if she's targeted by a physical or energy attack within 2. Kind of like Vibranium Shield, she gets to add on a couple of dice, and I believe she gets a place within 1 after any and all throws or pushes are resolved, but Crimson Dynamo is outside of range 2. And so at the end of a very violent round 2, we will once again be covering the witnesses moving and dealing damage at the top of the next round. Although it does happen in the cleanup phase, it definitely means Magic is going to be dazed, and that means one of the paranoia tokens are going to be sitting on the floor at the top of the next round. But that happens after scoring, so we can still cover that first. 3 of the paranoia tokens are in the possession of Convocation. Shadowcat has 1, Magic has 1, barely, and Doctor Strange has 1, and at least one of them is within 2 of another ally, so they get the bonus 1 point as well, and they hold this witness. So that takes them up to a massive 11, because of the having 3 paranoia tokens this round instead of a 2 from round 1, so they gained 6 there. That was pretty incredible. The final paranoia token is in the possession of Crimson Dynamo, of course, which does mean even if he'd taken Magic out, he couldn't have picked it up, because you can only hold 1. And he, we measured very carefully, is just within range 2 of Ursa Major, so they do get the bonus point on the paranoia, so they got 2 there, and Darkstar is holding the back witness there, so they gain 6, meaning they're trailing by 2 now, so 9 is playing 11, as we go into round 3, which might be the decisive round actually. This is turning very violent. Got quite a few characters flipping over their cards. We've got characters who are going to be dazed in a second when we cover the witness movement. So yeah, it's going to be extremely violent, and it is Convocation still going first. So at the top of round 3, let's just cover where those witnesses ended up. The one here was moved ever so slightly just so Ursa Major wasn't within one of it, but Stephen, Shadowcat and Magic all were, so they all took 1 damage. The 1 damage is enough that Magic is dazed, so not getting a turn this round, and her Paranoia token has been placed down here by Ikoyu. Still could be snatched up by someone else because Convocation is going first, but at least it's going to force a move. So good play there. And the other witness was just moved a little bit closer to where the action is happening. Still could only hit Darkstar, so that's her second bit of chip damage just from being in this situation with the Paranoia token before. So let's see, as I say, I think this could be the deciding round because there's so many points on offer. The Scarlet Witch decided it was time to come out and play a little bit, moving to where you can see her right here. Paid 1 power to pick up the Paranoia token. She has ally, or a ally, because Magic's dazed, within 2, so no damage received there. And then she did her just basic attack, 6 dice Mystic, with skulls counting as successes. Into Ikoyu, absolutely obliterated her from reality, doing all the health she has on her day's side, and has removed that particular threat. She wasn't done yet though. She then paid for telekinesis to pick up this stone here, hawk it into Ursa Major, and managed to get him for 2 damage, which is not quite optimal. He now has 1 health left, so he stays standing, but just barely. Oh, that was an accidental pun, I'm so sorry. Well, learn to fear the angry bear. He did his bear-armed assault or strike, whatever, his big spender, 7 dice physical, into Kitty Pryde, and managed to, well, it has a throw before it's even resolved, which did enough damage to daze her, so chucked into Stephen there. He took 1 damage. She is dazed. He paid 1 power to pick up the Paranoia token. He was still within 2 of Crimson Dynamo, so no damage received. And then he retreated. I also would have staggered her had she not been dazed by the attack anyway. And he's ended up back there holding it. He only has 1 health left as well. Like, that's been a very recurring theme this match, where people are grabbing objectives when they have 1 health left. So there were some difficult decisions to be made because it was only War Criminal Doctor Strange left for Convocation, thanks to everyone being dazed and Wanda already activating. So, and he's also holding a Paranoid token already, so he can't pick up another one. He decided to go all in on trying for some daisies, and he achieved pretty much everything that needed to happen for him having an okay activation. He started by using Wand of Watum tactics card. Specifically, you can choose a bunch, but he actually did choose just to use this attack up here. Range 5, 7 dice. It would also have done a billion status effects, but that part doesn't matter. He blasted Darkstar, needing to do 3 damage, I think. He managed to do 4, so she is dazed and won't be activating. He then spent 1 on Deadly Daggers of Daggeroth, which is a fun name, and threw those into Ursa Major, got him for 3. He only had 1 health left, so that dazed him. He dropped the Paranoia token he was holding, and it's been placed up there, so I don't think Red Guardian can reach that from where he is. Crimson Dynamo will have to get it, and that would also mean he'd probably have to waste his entire turn moving. It's just to try and keep Doctor Strange alive. He only has 3 health left. He is currently the only one securing this witness. We'll see what happens. Well, Crimson Dynamo managed to get some of the job done. He spent 2 to be placed within 2 with propulsion thrusters, which means he is securing that witness there now, that the other 2 who were dazed. And he used up both attack actions to try and take out Strange. The first one did 2 damage, applied shock. The second one also did 2 damage, didn't bother putting that down. Strange is dazed. That means he's dropped his Paranoia token. It's been placed there. Crimson Dynamo is already holding one, which I think I mentioned, so he can't pick it up anyway. And now it's just over to Red Guardian on his dazed side to see what he can do. He can only pick up one of those Paranoia tokens anyway, so he might as well just go for that one, because that one might get him damaged. And only Scarlet Witch is currently standing for Convocation, so that turned the other way pretty quick. So yep, Red Guardian just moved in and basically stood on that Paranoia token, paid 1 power, has picked it up, has an ally within 2, so no self-damage, and that takes us to scoring. They've definitely stopped Convocation winning this round. I don't know if because they were 2 behind, I don't know if they've generated themselves enough, but hey, let's go see. So at the end of round 3, we are going to have a turn 4 because it is not decided. The only point gained by Convocation is the Paranoia token on Wanda. She doesn't have a conscious ally within 2, so there's not even a bonus point in there, taking them up to 13. The Winter Guard, they hold the other witness, This witness has nobody, so it's not even going to move or anything. The other one will, though. But they hold that witness for 2, and they have a Paranoia token on Red Guardian and Crimson Dynamo. They're obviously within 2 of each other, so they also get the bonus points, so they gained 5, taking them into the lead at 14. 2 away from winning. Although because of how many points are gainable each... obtainable each round, either side can still win as we go into what will definitely be the final round, round 4, with Convocation still going first. Let's see if they can pull something back now that they have some power to play with. As we begin round 4, only this witness moved. It was moved right next to the only 2 who could take damage from it because the other 2 were dazed. So Red Guardian and Crimson Dynamo, 1 damage each, plus stun. So what do you do with advantage by going first in a round? Do you go snatch up an objective on the floor or help secure something? No, War Criminal Doctor Strange chooses violence. He moved up medium so that he was within range 2 of the entirety of the surviving enemy team and spent 6 on Shining Circle of the Seraphim, which actually heals allies if they're caught in it, but that's not relevant here. It is 7 dice Mystic against everybody, and just a lot of dice got rolled. Crimson Dynamo only took 1 damage, so not much there. Red Guardian took 3, leaving him on 1 health, I think. Darkstar took 4, leaving her on 1 health as well, I believe. And Ursa Major took 3, which leaves him on 4, because he has 7 on his dazed side. So, yep, War Criminal Doctor Strange chose violence. He's bloodied the nose of a bunch of them, but they all have a bunch of power now. Well, they only generated 1 each because they were stunned, but the other 2 have a lot of power. It's whether or not they decide to try and go in for a kill on him. He's not holding an objective anymore, so he's kind of like the least highest priority target. So I don't know, we'll see what they do. Crimson Dynamo was first up for the Winter Guard this round, moving so that he is still helping secure that witness there, but he wanted in that position to use Fusion Caster in order to do a big Russian version of the Unibeam, I guess. And there was no position he could get all 3 of them, so he settled on Magic and Scarlet Witch. Gives him access to a Beam 3 7 dice energy. He rolled no crits in either roll, so all that text is irrelevant. And still managed to get Magic for 2 damage though, and got Scarlet Witch for 1. A lot less damage than he was hoping for. Scarlet Witch was next up, and she is continuing with the Scorched Earth strategy that Convocation have taken. She hasn't actually moved there. She spent 2 on Astral Ring, but just placed the model where she's actually counting because we couldn't find the Astral Ring marker. But you place it within 3, and for all intents and purposes, that is where she is until the cleanup phase ends. Where she originally was just has a upside down marker now, so that's retained. In case it matters, it probably won't. So then she fired out her basic Hex Bolt into Darkstar, did 2 damage, boom, she is out of there. Then she spent 6 on Cruel Twist, 8 dice, Mystic Attack into Ursa Major. He doesn't get to count crits as successes or roll extra dice, and a skull means she can change one result to a blank, and of course she counts skulls in her roll as successes. Obliterated the bear for 5 damage, boom, he's gone as well. That's a double kill for Scarlet Witch right there. So that didn't leave Red Guardian with many options, and speaking of not many options, a delivery is here that I have to handle, so we're kind of getting to the end of the game quite quickly here. He moved to try and protect himself a little bit. He did Siberian Shield Slam, whatever it's called, into Doctor Strange. Got him for 3, includes a throw, chucked him into Scarlet Witch, it did 4. Not enough to kill him, didn't bother rolling her dodge roll because she can't die from it. That's Winter Guard's game over. He's holding a Paranoia token, he's holding the Witness, it's over to Magic and Shadowcat to take us to the end of the game. So as I say, I have to go handle something that got delivered to the house for some construction work being done, so we're going to wrap up the end of this game real quick. Magic activated, face stepped within 2, moved to where you can see her, and then used Dark Child to attack Red Guardian. He completely tanked the hit, it was very impressive. And so it was down to Shadowcat. She spent 2 to phase step within 2. She then moved where you can see her and then spent 3 on her Incinerate Assault or something, is Invisible Assault. Her spender, 7 dice. They don't get to count crits as successes or roll extra dice. And she managed to get Red Guardian for 4, which does actually mean he is removed off the table, and she is paying 1 to pick up the Paranoia token he was holding. He had to go down or they would have won because of the 2-point lead. With him now being gone, Convocation is winning. We'll quickly handle that in the end phase though. And so at the end of the game, the Winter Guard actually still did really well. Crimson Dynamo ends the game with a Paranoia token, no bonus point obviously, but that does mean they got to 15. They were one away from winning. Convocation though, with that last minute play, still a Paranoia token just sitting on the table, nobody could find a way to get over to it. But Scarlet Witch has a Paranoia token, Shadowcat picked one up right at the end there. They are within 2 of an ally, so they get the bonus point. That's 3 right there, and they're securing this witness 2 versus 1. Oh, actually, he's on his healthy side. Never mind, hang on, that's different. Oh, that does change things. So they're not securing it, he's healthy. So they secured that, so hang on a second. That means the Winter Guard actually claim that one, so they go to, they're at 15. So they go to 17, and that means, oh no, that means the Convocation only go to 15 then, because they only get 3 rather, for 2 Paranoia tokens plus the bonus. Yeah, because Scarlet Witch is counting as over there, so nobody is securing this one. Oh no, they've whiffed it right at the end. What could they have done? Totally forgot that Crimson Dynamo wasn't dazed. He's on his healthy side, so he takes priority for controlling that. Whoops! Oh well, that's what you get for playing quickly. I did have some final thoughts to share. I'm going to have to be really brief here, but this was actually a bad matchup for Convocation because the Winter Guard all have 4 Mystic defense. They're actually really good against Mystic attacks, so it's not a great matchup for them at all. They did really well despite that. They're fun. They're not hyper competitive, unfortunately, but they are fun. I hope you enjoyed. Apologies for this kind of rushed end. Please do remember to show your support if you would like to see more. It seems like interest in Crisis Protocol has waned a little bit, which is a shame. So do let me know if you want to see more. And if you can support the channel by being a channel member, you'll get early access to videos like this one, or the Fallout Wasteland Warfare series. You can also press the thanks button, or if you want something for yourself, check out the channel sponsor. They carry Crisis Protocol. They carry those blue dice apparently, so you can also look for them on there as well if you want. And if you buy anything via the affiliate link, I get compensated, which helps keep the lights on. Enjoy the rest of your day. Apologies again for the rushed end. See you next time. Ta for now.